guys? I'm just gonna do a quick video talking about paranormal activity that's happened to me roughly about almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm old, I know that. But hey, I'm gonna set this up real quick, try to do this real quick because it took a little longer than I expected last take, I mean. So, back when I was younger, in my early 20s, a friend of mine and I decided to do our college thesis on do a film, short film or documentary. Actually, it wasn't a short film; it was a documentary, about around an hour long. I don't ask to see it because I have no copies. We basically didn't have the rights to a lot of things. Like we didn't have the rights to music, so we didn't show it to a lot of people. But we did get a chance to talk to an HBO executive that wanted to show our film on HBO because it was semi well done. I mean, there was a good editing. We paid for editing. We did a little. I did a little bit of the cinematography, and I also did a little bit of the producing. I was one of the producers. I got producer credit, and that's it. Really, that's all I did with that. We stood there for 5 months, and it was Indonesia. He's Indonesian. He's a good friend of mine. So we were able to go because I don't speak Indonesian or whatever. I'm sorry if I don't know the language exact dialect or whatever language it is. And I stood with his family, his aunt in particular, before setting this all up. His uncle, her husband, died several years ago before this. So Annie died in the house that we were staying in. It was a two-story house. Me and him were staying in two separate rooms, and she had a son and a daughter. The daughter was around her early teens or so, or almost there, and then our son was like 10 or 9 at the time. We're still good friends actually, the son and the daughter, and they live near me now, so I see them quite often. But my friend, he moved back to Indonesia. Anyway, when I was there, and I used to come out to get breakfast early in the morning. It's routine, you know. Uh, we saw. He stated that an hour ago he saw someone walking down the stairs and he thought it was me, or it looked like me, and he called out to me. I didn't answer. I just straight walked towards. There was a backyard and a like a second living room, and he didn't see exactly where I went. He thought I went towards the backyard. So he went to look, and I wasn't there. He also went to look to the second living room, and I wasn't there. That's what he said to me, and I said to him when I was down there, once I was down eating my breakfast, no, I was sleeping at the time an hour ago, actually, and he was a little bit surprised and worried about it, but we just chalk it up like, oh, maybe it's my. He said it, maybe it's my uncle, and he's just playing a joke on me. I guess I never experienced anything paranormal while I was there. That's what he stated. But then I'll tell you the second one. The second one, we decided to do some research for the film, and we actually went to this museum to research some of the students, colleges and stuff like that. We went to this one place where it used to be an old hut and students and how people lived back in the day, several years back. If you don't know anything about Indonesian culture, they've lived very much like nomads, and sort of some of the places are similar to the rainforest, Brazilian rainforest. They have Muslims, mostly Muslims, and Hindus, I believe, and then there is here and there's some Catholics. Yeah, I'm just stating the facts, or at least that's what I believe. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, when we were there was a lot of talk about spirits. They do have a respect for spirits. And we saw this hut, and there was a kid outside. He wanted money because it's a third world country, and most young kids that are poor are going to ask anyone that's walking around there. Do you have money to give them? We said we might give you the money when we get out. So we decided to go into this hut that didn't look like anybody else was visiting, just to check it out to see what it is. Like I said, that's how people used to live back in the day. And when we went in there, it wasn't well lit. It was outside was beautiful that day actually, but inside it was a lot cooler. So we were cool that we were in there, and we were trying to escape the heat because it was really hot that day. And this is the time when smartphones didn't exist and whatnot as they are now. So of course we had to do a lot of research on our own, actually do the footwork. When we were in there, by the way, I'm getting to the point. There was this lady, like a weird lady, in the corner. The door was also not easy to open, and it did make a sound. And when we looked, she just was standing there, didn't acknowledge us or anything like that. Didn't look weird or anything. She just looked like transparent. Not well, she didn't look transparent. That's what I was stating. And she didn't say anything to us. So we stood there for a couple minutes, looked around. It wasn't very well lit. And then we looked around to look for her to see if we saw her. Maybe she was the tour guide or something, we thought. But no, she was gone. Nowhere to be found. We didn't see her. It was a hut, kind of just a studio hut. Like it was just one big room. And there was like a seating area in the room. There was, and that's it. That's all it really was. And it just stated what we thought, that some this is how people used to live back in, I don't know, the early 1800s or so, maybe even earlier than that. Yeah, you might hear some background noise, or you might see him. My nephew, I'm with him right now. The rest of the story is basically we asked the kid outside if he saw anything, and he just stated to us that it's haunted sometimes, this area, and you might see a woman, and then that's what he was describing to us. We don't know if that was just him telling us a story, and just because whatever. We gave him some money, and then we left basically. The third story, but I'll let you know. I'll tell you that later. It's not that long, and I'll see you in the next one. Watch out for baseball card video coming up soon, maybe, or gaming later.